Hi, this is Kavya Christopher. Welcome to Bangalore Times, and today we have with us actor Rishi
Hi.
and director Nandeesh.
Hello.
Welcome.
Namaskara.
Rudra Garuda Purana.
Yes.
Firstly, we'll start with how did you come up with this name? Would you like to answer this?
Rudra Garuda Purana. Garuda Purana means ಅದು ಒಂದು ಇದು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಪುರಾಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣ. ರುದ್ರ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಹೀರೋ.
Oh, okay. Nothing to other Rudraksha ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು nothing to do with that.
ಅದು ಒಂದು ರುದ್ರ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಇದು ಶಿವನ ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರು ರುದ್ರ. ಸೊ ರುದ್ರ ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣ ಆ ಥರ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣ ಜೊತೆ ರುದ್ರ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Okay.
ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಡೆತ್ ಆರ್ ಯುನೋ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೊ ಅದು ಅಂದರೆ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೊಡೋದು, ಸತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಥರ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಇಸ್ ಆರಿಜಿನೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಗರುಡ ಪುರಾಣ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಯುನೋ ಲೈಕ್ ಒನ್ ಮೇನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. And Rudra is the name of the character, and hence Rudra Garuda Purana.
So you said life after death ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ.
Yeah.
This is about a bus that has gone missing and has reappeared. From what we have seen, we've seen manifest that has been created on the same thing. I remember, even in our office, we used to wait every single week for that episode to come through. So the story by itself, even though it is like a news related thing, it was something that actually happened. It is very intriguing. Everybody will want to know what exactly this whole thing is. Supernatural, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, and that thrill is always there. So is that tell us about how you came across this kind of a story and what you intend audience-ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅಂತ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಕೊಲೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಒಂದು CC ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ, ಒಂದು ಫೋನು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ವಿತಿನ್ 24 hours ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಸೂನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಹಿಡ್ದಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ, ಕಳ್ಳರನ್ನ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಥರ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಒಂದು ರಾಬ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅವನು ಡಿಸಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಯಾವ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ಗೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಥರ ರುದ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟ್ರು ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಆ ಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
No. Basically, as in whenever an investigation starts, you have certain suspects, right? Okay, you make a list of suspects and the motives and why they might have done it and stuff like that. But when you're investigating a case where you don't even see the person, or you don't even know what's the force that's acting behind this, that makes it all the more complicated and challenging, right? So that's what drove me to the story. And there are supernatural elements in the film, but the film is not about that. So
okay.
If I reveal anything more than that, probably there'll be a lot of giveaways for the film. So
anything else that you can tell us about?
I think without revealing the story, I think I'll just share another story that we had heard. There was a train which once started. It's a luxury train which could only consist of 106 passengers. And this train was on its very first journey. This has got nothing to do with the film, but I'm just telling you because this, I think, sets the mood and the right tone for the film. The train has only 106 passengers. So the train starts its very first journey, and on the same day, along the route, there's a tunnel which was constructed, and this tunnel was also opened for the very first time. And the train is moving along the track, and suddenly 2 people jump out of the train. Just before the train is about to enter the tunnel, these 2 people just jump out. And this is a real story, mind you. And after the train enters the tunnel, it doesn't come out of it. So till date there are a lot of conspiracy theories about what happened to this train. Some people say this train landed in some other station a few years later. Some say this is a government conspiracy, or some say something went wrong, etc., etc.
No time zone issues here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So when those two people were contacted and asked, why did you jump the train and what happened to this train after it went to the tunnel, those two said, after we boarded the train, we felt something was off. And when the train started its journey, we kind of felt there's some eerie element about it. And we were getting a little concerned, and somehow something told us, it's better to just jump out of this train. This is not worth it. And they jumped out. And they say after the train entered the tunnel, they heard a big noise and they saw a lot of smoke. And then after that, they could not say anything. And so this is the story that has been recorded by these two people. So we don't know what happened to this train.
It's still missing.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories even today. Now also has a similar line, and that's what probably makes the investigation all the more complicated and challenging for the hero. And and I think this is a story that I narrated to you. Like it could be like I could say this on a radio also, but when we are making a film, it's an audio video platform, right? So we've made sure that we bring it in the right form, in the video format, and also the audio has come out pretty well. The songs and the background score and the sound effects are all mixed in some of the best studios in Chennai and elsewhere. So I think it's a good theatrical experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any inspiration that you went through? What really inspired you in the kate
ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ಆ ಥರ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು 914 ಫ್ಲೈಟ್ದು ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಲೈಕ್ ಈ ಥರ 1955 ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಫ್ಲೈಟು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 30 years ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂತು. ಅದೇ ನ್ಯೂಯಾರ್ಕ್ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದೊಂದು 914 ಫ್ಲೈಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರ ಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ರಿಯಲಾಗಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟು. ಅದನ್ನು ಇದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೂಪರ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ರಿಯಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಆ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ.
ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ರಿಯಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ?
ರಿಯಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಇದು ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋತ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆರ್ ಅ ಥ್ರಿಲ್ಲರ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ, ಥ್ರಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ?
Yeah, both.
It's both. For something like this, you will have to constantly keep thinking about the twist. To keep the audience completely glued to their seat. You have to be the audience first, Alva. So, how many changes were there?
So many changes.
And how long did it take?
Actually, ನಾವು ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೂ ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬೆಟರ್ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಮುಂಚೆ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಕರೋನಾ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ತುಂಬ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮೂವೀಸ್ ಯಾರೂ ನೋಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕರೋನಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೆಟ್ಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಸು, ಅಮೆಝಾನ್, ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ OTT ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಥರದ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸಿಗೆ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಈ ಕತೆ ಈ ಥರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಇದೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಮೀರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸೀಟ್ ಎಡ್ಜಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ವರೆಗೂ ಕೂರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಎಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ
ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೂ ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಲೇನೆ ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Because sometimes what happens, script stage ಅಲ್ಲಿ they would have worked thinking of certain things, but shoot ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ something maybe something might be better than what we've already thought, and hence we would have changed that, and some improvisation would have happened based on the casting that's happened and based on the location ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ, or based on how the DOP feels about the visual aesthetics part of it and stuff like that. Because when we are writing, ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, as in the shooting part of it. so the visual part of it would not have come. So just to make it look nicer, some improvisations would have happened. And especially with a thriller, scope for that usually is very limited. Because if you deviate too much, then again you have the risk of losing the audience's interest, because you have to keep it very tight, like as you said.
Right.
And but also the thing is, like iga sir heldange, audience is also exposed to multiple kind of films or content in this genre. Namge ago challenge ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, okay, you know, when we are doing this, how do we also differentiate ourselves? And one thing that I liked about the screenplay was they're not stuck to standard formats. Andre, when you look at certain thrillers, like you know that there is a high point in the 10th minute or the 20th minute, and then by the 40th minute somehow there's like another bang and stuff like that.
Is that a formula?
There is a formula.
Okay.
There's a serious formula,
that.
and if you observe like say 5 Hollywood films, and if you watch it with timer, then you know that at certain durations there is always like some inciting incidents that always happen. There's a proper method to this
kind of filmmaking.
Yeah, filmmaking.
Okay, nice.
So one thing that I like about him is I think his strength also is writing. So he's like, no, let me challenge myself also and the audience also. The film is also episodic in nature. You know, the initial part of it is spent showing you know, who the hero is and what he wants and why is he like this and stuff like that. And then he also brings in his politics into the film, as in about how he looks at society, stuff like that. What are the ideas?
There's one song also, right?
Yeah, there is one song. So and see, that's usually the smartness of the director, right? I mean, whatever they want to say, they somehow organically bring it to the story, and you know, the audience also gets convinced, and there's a story in it. There's entertainment value to it, and there's also the larger purpose of why am I making this film, which is also brought into it. So the cinema also is episodic in nature, and then once the case starts, it goes, and then you're expecting something to happen, but something else happens. So that way, I think he's had a blast writing. And because there's a lot of character play, it was exciting for me as well. Because usually what happens in thrillers, the hero doesn't have much. Because it's mostly the reactions, because you're just figuring out, it's a very internal process, right? You're just trying to solve a puzzle and stuff like that. But here there's a lot of character play, which also made it more fun. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of writing, this is a mystery and thriller for you. Dear Vikram anta one film ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. What genre was it?
That was Naxalism.
I mean, serious type avra.
Very serious type. No, but he's very jovial also. But I think deep down what matters to him are the societal
Are these kind of things.
Yeah,
okay. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ, ವಾಟ್ just to figure out your thought process, the kind of films that we can expect from you also in the future.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟು ನಾವು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಫಸ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬುಕ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಓದ್ತಾ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಬೆಟರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಬೆಟರ್ ಏನಾದ್ಯಾ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬುಕ್ಗಳು ಓದುವಾಗ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತೊಗೊಬೋದು, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ ಇವಾಗಿನ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನ.
ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕತೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು?
ಕತೆ
ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದಿದೆಯಾ?
ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. 1 or 2 ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಕತೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. And then the question was, sir, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ. ಅವಾಗ ಅವರು ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ನೀವು ಕಬ್ಲುದಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ.
So these were other non-cop related
stories. And then I'm like, okay, but are you excited about it? Like, ಅಂದ್ರೆ given a choice, would you do that? It's like, yeah sir, actually ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದು. then let's talk about it. And ಅವಾಗ ಲೈನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ it is quite engaging. So
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಆ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಬ್ಬ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ. ಪೀಪಲ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇದೆ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾದ್ರೂ ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಲ್ಲೇ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ವಿಕ್ರಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಒಂದು ನಕ್ಸಲಿಸಮು, ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸು, ಅದ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು, ಸೋಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಮಿಸ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಅದು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಯಾರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೋರಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಈಗ ಪೊಲೀಸು ಇವಾಗ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಕ್ಸಲ್ ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಪಾಡಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರೋದು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದನ್ನ ಇವರು ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಇವರು ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಮು ಯಾಕೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಅವರು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಬರುವಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೈ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿಲಿ ಬಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಹೊಡೆದಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಫೈನಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ಯಾರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೋರಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕ್ವಶನೇ ಬರೋದು ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ, ನಾವೇನೇ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೂ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪುಟ್ಟದಾಗ ಹೇಳೋಣ ಅಂತ.
Why did you choose Rishi?
He's a good actor.
Based on the films that he's done before you.
Yeah.
So any of these films, 4 scripts that you had, your suit ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಥರದ್ದು, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಿಚಾರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು, ಒಂದು ಲವ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಲವ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸೂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆ ಕತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿ ಹೊರಡೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಕತೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡೋರೆಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟು, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಬಟ್ ಹಂಗೆ ನೀವು ಗೊತ್ತು ನೀವು ಇದರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದೆ. ಇವ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ವೈ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ he has worked, ಅಂದ್ರೆ his journey was from ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶುರು ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಜೇಕಬ್ ವರ್ಗೀಸ್ ಸರ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, and he was an integral part for Puneet sir's Prithvi. And Prithvi was one of the cult classics in terms of police cinema ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ. It's one of those classics. And he's someone who has genuinely understood how police department works. Andre the intricacies of it and cinematic way of showing police department alla, the actual way of how the police system works. And he has actually andre like done his own research and he knows about it. So when someone knows certain subjects in detail, then you know that the world of the story enirutte, that will be taken care very well.
Right.
So that part was authenticity. And that part was andre already confidence ittu. Ee genre ge hodre it's his strength, it's a strong forte. Like he doesn't have to worry about how do I do my world building, police department na torsod henge, how do I build those dynamics between the seniors and the juniors and stuff like that. Avella gottide, already gottide. So now it's only a matter of, do I have like an engaging story that sort of suits this. And ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪೃಥ್ವಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ನೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಸಿನಿಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗಿರೋದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ದಸರಾದಾಗ ಪ್ಯಾಲೇಸ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆರ್ಕೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ರಿಹರ್ಸ್ ಡೈಲಿ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಮಚ್. So he wanted to bring those elements on screen and ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು and all of those things. Even I didn't know, being a Mysorean, like I knew all stables ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ, I knew about it, but ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. I'm like, okay, this is some interesting element. And even the character and everything, when he mentioned, there's a lot of contrast from Kavludari. The Kavludari character KS Shyamna tagad nodidre is probably a more nicer guy, whereas the character he had developed, after listening to it and after going through the narration, like I could see a lot of sarcasm in this fellow, and I could see a lot of aggression and a bit of meanness and a lot of sarcasm. And for me, police story ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ultimately you can't deny or you can't run away from the similarities. Ultimately it's like the same uniform that you want to wear, and perception ನೋಡಿದಾಗ it will look the same no matter what. But somewhere is there something different at least anta mandaga I could see like behavior wise there's a lot of differences, and I'm like, okay, it's okay, there are certain changes, at least in terms of characterization this will look different, and the storyline is also pretty different. So neevu yochne ಮಾಡಿ, in case if you feel this is the film that you will be excited about, let's do that anta.
Okay.
And I think he also took a day's time. Next day is like, yeah.
Okay, and your choice of films,
Yeah.
do they, is it your choice or do they come to you? This one I know was like forced choice now.
No, see, the thing is, choice, like I was telling you that time, I am not comfortable with, claiming that I have chosen a film. Like I feel it's one of the biggest lies that an actor could have, or probably it's an ego boost to say that, I chose it, because human nature nam thing hai, we want to take credit for something or the other. Even when we get something, we want to see, okay, is there something that I have done to get this, and then we think about it.
But when you say choice, let me just rephrase that. You have chosen to say no to some scripts.
Yeah.
So that way, you're making a conscious choice on what you will pick out of what is being offered to you. So therefore, it is your choice. You can definitely take that credit.
Absolutely. I think most of the time, very valid what you mentioned, and in that, like in the limited, like probably this is my fifth film actually theatrically. One was OTT. One thing is, it's an audio-video medium. I can narrate the story like this also, but if I am going to shoot it and then add music to it and everything else, that means it's a very technical, there's a lot of technical aspect to it. That means you need technically skilled people and people who understand the medium pretty well. So A, you need a good story which is engaging enough, and B, a team which is capable of sort of executing it the way you want it. And once you have confidence in these two aspects, and then the rest becomes, am I okay living this character for the next 6 months? And also probably sometimes a cinema journey is almost a year. You shoot and then you also travel with it during promotions and publicity and then go. So it's a very personal process for 1 year. You're living in that zone. And you need to feel good about it, or you need to feel kicked about what you're doing. So all these things come, but to be very honest, I'm a very easy to please person that way. Like I wouldn't say no just like that, unless most of the time, even when I get pitches, I usually say, okay, after you fully develop, let's talk. Like I would not have made an opinion that way. Yeah.
Is that a problem?
No, it's not. It's not
about being politically correct that way. You're not saying no, but you're still saying no.
No, not really. Like I genuinely, I don't mean to be diplomatic when I'm saying, okay, now let's discuss later, because I genuinely would not know. Because I think you can form an opinion only when you've gone through the details of the entire story, and then you think about the character, the graph of the character, and then the question that comes to you is, are you okay being this for the next 6 months? Because the only form of acting that I know is to probably look at it slightly deeper, in a slightly deeper way. That means it's going to affect you in one way or the other. Either I bring something to this character, or the character will bring something to me, and there's this residual effect which stays back in you, which sometimes is scary. Like there have been moments where right after Kavludari, there was a beautiful murder mystery. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic, but it was so dark. I loved the story. I loved everything about it, but it was too much. Like I thought that I just wanted to be a little relaxed for the next 6 months. I didn't want to get into
instead.
Yeah, I was in that zone, and I'm like, okay, probably for the next 6 months, I don't think I can do this kind of an intense role.
Okay.
And
so that plays on an actor's
that played
mind.
like if there are like few films which probably were so good, and still I felt that probably I'm not a good fit. As audience, I was absolutely enjoying the whole project and everything about it. But as an actor, when I have to be there and I have to sort of like say, bring that character to life, I felt somehow, oh no, this might disrupt me in some way, and I gave up on that. So there have been instances like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite heavy.